Good day, good people. It's AT Malone, the first of my name because the second is already here. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell for more videos from your boy. Now, this is a interesting Tuesday. Why? Because it's spring break and I have my son here. So the schedule is a little bit different, but we are going to have an amazing day today. As soon as I finish recording this video, we're gonna go to the gym, get a nice little workout in. This will be my second one. I already did mine this morning, so catch that morning PSA if you haven't already. But we don't believe in off season. No, we continue to train throughout the entire year. How can you get better unless you continue to train, you continue to improve, you continue to evolve? So that is what I'm teaching my son. And it also teaches him, listen, even though you're on a break, there are no breaks. You have to continue to work. I made him do some math this morning, so he's getting his substance in as far as his education is concerned, and we gonna still keep it moving. And after we get done getting that good workout in, getting that good sweat in, I'm gonna take him to the arcade. Why am I taking him to the arcade? Because that is his second reward for making all A's. And I implore all parents, if your child accomplishes something that you were unable to do, you have to reward them to the max that's within your budget. Typically, I would just give them money or take them to the arcade, but this time I'm doing both because I have never made all A's when I was in elementary. Plus, he's in magnet school, which means every subject is hard as hell. So he's in 5th grade, but he's basically taking 6th grade classes. So we're gonna go to the arcade. I'll probably beat him up on a couple of games because I don't believe in letting your kids win anything. They gotta earn everything, especially if they're a boy. So there's no handouts over here, man. Everything is earned, even victories. So we're gonna do that, have a good old time. I love spending time with my son. He doesn't get on my nerves. I just enjoy watching his growth, man. He's gonna be 12 this year, which is crazy as hell. Gonna be in middle school this year. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's just life. So it's gonna be an amazing day. But this is what we are here for. The richest man in Babylon, Tuesday's content. And we are finally on chapter 4. And this was an interesting chapter. We're gonna break it down into 2 parts. So this is gonna be part 1. So the title of this chapter is Meet the Goddess of Good Luck. And it says, the desire to be lucky is universal. It's just as strong today as it was in ancient Babylon. But is there a way to attract good luck? Now, this is what the men who were shrewd and keen thinkers in Babylon decided to find out. Even though there were no schools, they had a center of learning, the Temple of Learning. And if you've been following this channel in Tuesday content, you know that's where our cat was teaching the students about the 7 cures for a lean purse. And I also want to say this, guys. You have to find your own temple of learning. Mine is the cigar lounge because there's men that go there from different backgrounds, race, religions, liberals, conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, all different type of people. You have extremely wealthy people, you have middle class people, you even have poor people there. So we all go there and we bounce ideas, we discuss, we debate, we watch sports. It's just a great community to be around a lot of like-minded men and a lot of men who do not think alike. It's a melting pot. So regardless if it's your cigar lounge, bar, restaurant, maybe somebody's house, and they, you throw house parties or gatherings there, you gotta find a place where there's a group of men where you can have good dialogue, all right? So at this Temple of Learning, we had voluntary teachers, slaves, and they all treated each other as equals, and they discussed, disputed ideas as well. And Arcat had his own special hall where young men, middle-aged, and old men discussed, argued over different topics. And one night, they all gathered in Arcat's hall, and a cloth weaver spoke up and said, "Today I have been lucky. I have found a purse in which there are pieces of gold. To continue to be this lucky is my great desire." Let's debate on how we can attract good luck. And Arcad commented that some men think that good luck comes from chance, while others think it comes from a goddess who is anxious to reward those who please her. Everybody agreed to debate on the topic, so Arcad gives the floor to the ones who had similar experiences that the cloth weaver had, receiving coins without effort. So a young man spoke up and asked, when a man speaks of luck, does that mean he goes to the gambling table hoping that the goddess will bless him? And then another guy asked him, hey, did you win at that gambling table? And the young man replied, no. Well, another man responded that he lost gambling at a chariot race that Arcad actually attended as well, but Arcad won. So he asked Arcad if the goddess whispered in his ear to pick the right horse. Arcad says, nah, she's not interested in gambling tables or races, but she is interested in other places where the doing of men are more worthwhile and more worthy of reward. So he also says that he deals in honest trading. Sometimes he wins, he makes money. Sometimes he loses money. But if he stays persistent, he will realize a profit. And he also says this. He says that men who gamble will lose most of the time because, as we know, the house always wins and the games are arranged where the odds will always be against you. This is why I'm not into gambling like that. I don't go to casinos, and when I went to casinos before, I didn't use my money. I used somebody else's money who took me there, all right? Listen, you got to do what you got to do. I work very hard for my money, and I don't want to gamble it all away like that. Plus, I look at going to casinos as a depressing place. I've literally seen people get off of work, go cash out their check, go to the gambling table, lose everything. They're crying at the gambling table. They're crying at the slot machine. That's not the place to be. If I go to a casino, I'm going there to eat, okay? So, but one guy says to Arcad, look, some men do win. And Arcad responded, it's true, but the successful men here did not get rich off of gambling. And then he asked the men that are at the Temple of Learning, did you guys get rich off of gambling? People are quiet, they groaning. So the answer to that is no. So then he says, let's talk about our trades and businesses. Would we not consider our trades and businesses, if they are successful, good luck? Then an elderly merchant spoke up and asked, yes, we have successful businesses, but what about the business opportunities that we've lost? And Arcad asked the men who could relate to what that elderly merchant said. So everybody could relate to that. So then a guy tells this story about an investment opportunity that he had when he was younger. So basically, his father's friend's son was trying to acquire land to grow herbs. He needed 12 investors to pay 1/10 of the total price of this land. And as soon as, they paid for this land, they would split it up, right? And his father kept being persistent about him purchasing this land, but the guy never did it. Why? Because he decided that he wanted to buy these expensive robes for himself and his wife instead of using that money to invest in his land. Well, when he did that, the land had got acquired, and he found out that the land ended up being more profitable than they could ever imagine. And that's where I stop right there, because this is very relatable. We've all had opportunities to grow wealth, to invest, and turn a significant profit, but we chose to do other things. I'll give you a quick story, all right? So I had a homeboy that was trying to get everybody to invest into GoPro right before it went public, all right? And all I needed to do was invest a couple of $100, man, just a couple $100. And I decided not to do it. And as soon as they went public, that stock skyrocketed. He made tens of thousands of dollars off of that stock. And to this day, sometimes I kick myself in the butt and say, man, I should have went ahead and invested in this because the money was already in the bank. I had it and I just decided against it. And even if I would have lost that money, I already made it back over the years. So we got to get in the habit of really paying attention to the opportunities that we have, guys, because some of them could be a once in a lifetime thing. But one of the W's that I actually can accredit myself to is buying my first house when houses were cheap as hell. I bought my first house back in 2012 and the house was only $85,000. Okay, $85,000. Okay, it wasn't a big house, 1,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. But now that house is worth like $250,000. So I went ahead and made that investment. And I gotta credit my mom. Shout out to my mom, because she told me to go ahead and go through the first time home buyers program, get that $10,000 and use it for the down payment and closing costs. And that's what I did. So I basically paid nothing to get into that first house. And I used that money that I sold that house on and I bought this house. And I said that before in one of my videos, man. So you gotta just pay attention, man, to the investments that will come to you. You gotta make sure that you can set aside some money if you have it, because it's gonna happen and you need to capitalize on it. Do not be like the guy who could have acquired the land to, build, grow those herbs or build a house, or you could till the land to grow other crops. Don't be that guy and spend money on things that's not going to add value to your net worth at all, because that money can, you can spend money on other things, man. If you turn a profit in that initial investment, you spend money on your dividends, or if you have a source of income that allows you to finance your hobbies or to buy nice things, your trips, but you don't want to take that money out of your 9 to 5, all right? Well, that is Tuesday's content, man. I am about to eat lunch with my son and we got to go to the gym. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. I will see y'all later. Peace.